Thanks for joining me today on this first installment of what I intend to be a twice-monthly series where I recount my travels and work as a broadcast tower technician, starting from the beginning of my time in broadcast. It's somehow been 5 years already since I got started in broadcast work, and telling the story chronologically, as the dates line up at the present time, is the first thing that made sense to me and seemed achievable to present the contents of my camera roll and multiple hard drives full of drone and GoPro footage that I haven't edited and processed and shared before. Aside from this opening scene, the rest of what you'll see is in chronological order in roughly 2-week increments, starting June 13th, 2019. The first broadcast project I worked on was for the oldest TV station south of the Mason-Dixon line, WTVR in Richmond, Virginia, on their 843-foot self-supporting lattice tower. In 1953, when this tower was built, it was the tallest tower in the country, the second largest steel lattice tower in the world after the Eiffel Tower, and there were only 5 buildings taller than it in the United States. It remains the tallest structure in Virginia. This is my very first ride up a tower in a manbasket. When I arrived, the project's already started and the tower was already rigged, so I just got into the manbasket and went for the ride. It honestly was kind of nerve-wracking for me the first few times and got my adrenaline going because of the difference between being up on a tower with at least having a tower underneath you and being out in the air with nothing but the ground beneath the manbasket. But it didn't take long to gain familiarity with the principles of the rigging and the double drum hoist, but it was a new experience to me after the previous 5 years of working on cell towers and being used to climbing each tower every day. The goal of this project was structural reinforcement to bring the tower into compliance with the more modern structural code. Adding additional steel to a tower to make it stronger is known as a beef up, and we beefed it up alright. The target of much of this beefing was the horizontals like we're looking at here, where we stitched another piece of angle to the outside of the members in order to make them stronger. Now we're looking at our 20-foot Connex. Loved working out of the Connex. We had hooks for our harnesses, cubbies for our stuff, well-organized tools, equipment, and materials, a workbench, fridge, and a microwave. For the kind of work we were doing, it's the best way to go.
Oh yeah, just buy it. We'll reimburse you.
Shout out to Bo Johnson. Got me this job and got me into broadcast.
Ain't no Burnett shit around here, homie. We got a fucking porta potty on site. The lunch spot's right down that alley. Got it made.
Best way to get us into work on Saturdays, pay the boys per diem that day. So every week we get our envelope with our per diem money in it, $140 a day, so $980 a week, cash money. If you've followed me for any length of time, you're probably aware that I'm a drone enthusiast. And that goes way back for me, so it wasn't long before I had my drone up and flying, getting some video of what we're doing on the tower. And as I mentioned, we were reinforcing the horizontals, and that's where we're standing. So it's hard to do work on where you're standing if you're also standing there. The solution they had rigged up I thought was pretty genius. Essentially a tight rope. They used some come-alongs and some slings about 4 feet underneath the work surface, tightened it up, and it provided something for us to stand on while we were working. Put our positioner around that horizontal member to hold us up and down, and then having that sling there was good so that our feet had somewhere to rest so we weren't just rocking or hanging in the harnesses all day. This required a lot of measuring to get holes for the new pieces of angle that were coming up, and then a lot of drilling with mag drills to put holes into the old member so we could run stitch bolts through into that new piece that we brought up. I'm going to shut up and just let you watch this drone video. If you want to skip past this, the next 6 minutes or so are just me flying around somewhat aimlessly. There is a clip that comes up later where it's a little bit edited, color corrected, looks better. So if you want to skip it, no hard feelings, go to about the 10-minute mark. I haven't yet decided whether to release all this drone footage unedited or to edit it into something a bit more compelling. Let me know in the comments, one way or the other, if you have a preference, what you'd like to see. Here we've got to look at the fellows working on the tower from the ground. It's always kind of crazy to see it from this perspective. This is that same drone footage we were seeing before, just edited and color corrected. What were you lying about?
I don't care if I catch fire.
Yeah, bring on the rain. Promising over there.
Here's Tony demonstrating what we would have to do to get around the tower and stay 100%. It definitely wasn't easy on a tower of this size. I'm going to try to explain a whole lot of basic stuff for people who may not be familiar with tower stuff whatsoever. So staying 100 refers to the practice of always having one of your safety lanyards attached to an anchor point. So you can see Tony at this point has attached his second lanyard where his left hand is, and he's removed the one with his right hand just now. He's now going to move over, cross over the X, and when he gets to the other side of it, he will attach that safety lanyard that he just removed to the tower on that side and remove the one that's attached now. So removing that way, attaching two of them before removing one, that's what being 100% means. If you watch this, shout out to you, Tony. Don't look down, Tony! Here's one of the long pieces of angle for our leg reinforcement coming up to us. So this is fairly representative of what I have in mind for this series, sharing all the stuff that I have that I just never got around to processing and sharing in the past. If there's some questions that you have about the work that we're doing, specific projects, general questions you'd like to see, stuff you'd like answered in future videos, things of that nature, please leave them in the comments, and that's probably the best way for me to see it and try to answer those questions. So if you made it this far, thanks for watching this video, and we'll see you in a couple weeks for the next one.
Caw, bitch!